right. Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushai, Ba'ashim Kodash, double honors to the apostle of the great millstone, and salute to you brothers out there preaching his word, sharing the truth. All right, got this article here. It's from Greg Hunter, USA Watchdog. This guy holds interviews with, economic forecasters, predicting on, the economy and where it's going, the state of the economy and where it's going. And this one guy right here, Egon von Greyers, which he says 2.5 quadrillion disaster waiting to happen. All right. And that's all the debt. That's all the debt that the so-called white man Esau Edom has acquired in his banking system. All right. The paper fiat currency is a debt, if you didn't know. Okay. It's solely based off of debt. Okay. It was, the dollar bill was backed by gold and silver. All right. Esau took that off off being the standard in 1971 as taking gold from backing the U.S. dollar. And then it switched to petro oil being the backing of the American dollar. Now, the American dollar has no oil backing it. Okay. And it's basically in free fall, man. And that goes, the quadrillion goes into the derivatives as well. The IOUs, paper contracts, And when the system implodes on itself, and it will implode, all that debt power will be transferred. It just won't go poof and that's it. That all that energy that's been created to print all that debt is going to transfer. Okay, it's going to transfer out of the paper fiat currency and to things that's tangible. What the scriptures talk about gold and silver. Okay, so let me read some of this. Basically get the points. Egon von Greyers explains, start with the second paragraph, credit has increased dramatically through derivatives. All instruments being issued now by banks, pension funds, stock funds, and all synthetic. It's all synthetic. There is no real underlying payments in anything almost. Therefore, my estimate for derivatives would be at least 2 quadrillion. And you look up, let's see. You look up quadrillion. Quadrillion is 1,000 trillion. Okay. 1,000 trillion. Man, you can't even count that high. I don't think the modern day, Slocky, look at that livestock. I don't think the modern day, I don't think you can buy a calculator in the store that can go up to quadrillion. 40, 50 years ago, and wasn't no such thing as quadrillion or probably trillions. But that's how much debt Esau, the so-called white man, printed. And I'm gonna grab the scripture on that on him living, on him basically running his world on debt. Therefore, my estimate derivative will be at least 2 quadrillion, and I think that is probably conservative. Then we have debt on top of that 300 trillion, and we also have a couple 100 trillion of unfunded liabilities. So we're talking about 2.5 quadrillion, and that's with a global GDP of 80 trillion. So there is a disaster waiting to happen, and especially because all this created money has created no value whatsoever. See that? But you got the typical so-called Negro, Latino, Native American, they get a little so-called debt notes, fiat currency, and they think they got life figured out. They think they all got it figured out. And you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, you're the true biblical Israelites, all right? But you have some debt notes and you think you got everything figured out. You think you got life figured out, and that dollar bill, puts pride on you and it blinds you, okay? It blinds you from what was really going on. And as soon as the Most High put it in the spirit of the so-called white man to basically reset this system, your American dollar bill is going to go poof. And it's going to go poof during hyperinflation, okay? That's when the value of the dollar bill decreases, decreases in value to its intrinsic value of 0. Many examples of Zimbabwe in 2010, they suffered a hyperinflation. Venezuela, starting 2014, they suffered a hyperinflation. Argentina, all right, going back to the Weimar Republic in Germany, suffered a hyperinflation during the 1930s, I believe. Those examples, you should learn from. But our people don't go into history. They don't know what's going on, especially in a banking system. All right. Let's see. These derivatives, at some point in the coming few years, will actually turn into debt. Central banks will have to recover all the outstanding liabilities of the commercial banks, as we are seeing now in Credit Suisse, Bank of England, and etc. This is going to happen across the board, whether it calls themselves derivatives or called debt. As far as I am concerned, it is the same thing. It will have the same effect on the world financial system and will be disastrous, of course. That means a lot of death is going to happen when this system is resetting. Let's see. EVG says the derivative markets are simply a way for financial institutions to carry debt, remember that word debt, and not show it on their balance sheets. In the end, everything will balance out. EVG goes on to say nobody can repay the debt, and they can't even pay interest. So therefore, when the debt implodes, so will the assets were financed by this debt. So both sides of the balance sheet have to come down. And what does that mean for the regular person? You know, you jakes that the 401ks and all that. That's gonna be poof. That's done. So whether it comes down 50%, 75%, or 90%, I don't know. All I think about is risk in the financial system will not survive in its present form. Central banks only use one kind of medicine. And Jake that, got these loans for these, these houses that they think they own. Shit, their house is going to drop in value tremendously. And they're going to be stuck in that house, along with hyperinflation kicking your ass. So Jake is through, man. Jake is through. And that's basically going to cause a famine as well. Famine of food and bread, man. We're getting the Book of Lamentations. How the women of Israel sodding their children. Because it was starving. It's gonna get like that here in America, man. Central banks only use one kind of medicine, and that print more money, print more debt. And now you are getting negative returns on printing money, so that is not going to save anything. Sadly, we are looking at a situation with this system will start to implode. The rich are still rich, but the poor are really poor. Who's the poor? You so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, man. Yeah, you're going to get poorer and poorer. Overall, in the UK, Germany, and most European countries, people don't have enough money to live. This is a human disaster already, with food costs going up 25% and energy going up the same and gasoline, interest rates and rents. People don't have enough money, and that is happening now. So the system is imploding now. It's not an overnight thing, man. Okay, it takes time for system to implode. Well, there's going to come a time where something drastic is going to happen, and it's really going to kick off, the implosion. It is a human disaster of mega proportions. It is so sad, and governments will have no chance of doing anything about it. So when it finally happens, you ain't gonna get money. You can't get cash out the ATMs. The bank's gonna be closed. There's gonna be a credit freeze. That means no transactions. Nothing is. The whole financial system is down. And just imagine that all over the planet Earth. There's going to be pandemonium in the streets. I give it 2 days. If that. 2-3 days, there's going to be pandemonium in the streets. And so what they got to do, they got to print more money. They got to print trillions and trillions of more money to liquidate the system. All right, to undo the credit freeze. It's going to get mad out here, man. But anyway, I'm going to go to the scriptures, man. Basically get the point. Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 5. Yeah, also because he transgressed by wine, and he is so-called white man, Esau, Edom, the devil, the wicked, according to the Bible. He is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlarges his desire as hell, and as death cannot be satisfied. But he gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. And that's what Esau do. He go all over planet Earth, conquering and putting his ideologies on people, on other nations. Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him. Woe means destruction. Woe to him that increaseth that which is not his. How long? Okay. And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. All right, let's look up these words here. Let's look up the word lateth. Hebrew word kabod, which means to be heavy, to be weighty, to be grievous, hard, to be rich, honorable, glorious, be burdensome, be honored. To be heavy, made heavy, heavy. All right. When you lateth means to make heavy. Okay, look up the word thick clay. Hebrew word abatyat, which means weight of pledges, heavy debt. Okay, and that's how Esau runs the system, by debt. And by this guy's calculations, his financial system is 2.5 quadrillion debt. 2.5 quadrillion dollars in debt. Okay. And the typical Negro, Latino, Native American, they don't even know anything about the financial system, man, and where it's going. And they don't have no idea. That's why, let me get Isaiah, one of my favorite scriptures here. Isaiah 65. And 12. Therefore will I number you to the sword, and ye shall all bow down to the slaughter, because when I called, you did not answer. Yet the men of the Lord go on the highways and byways who do these videos. That's the Lord calling unto you to repent. When I spake, ye did not hear, but did evil before my eyes, and did choose that wherein I delighted not. And the scriptures say, I believe in Timothy, the love of money is the root of all evil. And that's Jake, man. That's all that's important to them, is getting the bag. Getting some fiat currency. And that's not real money. Therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, behold, my servants shall eat. The Lord's servants is his prophets in their houses. Okay? My servant shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Because behold, my servant shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. So the wicked or our people are going to be hungry and thirsty in this time. And it has to do with the financial system being imploded. Okay? It's going hyperinflation, all of that. Hyperinflation is going to cause a famine. But the Lord got his men protected. The Lord gave his men the spirit to, being protected in that time. Okay? Being prepared. But ye shall be hungry, behold, my servant shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servant shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. Behold, my servant shall sing for joy of heart, but ye shall cry for sorrow of heart, and shall howl for vexation of spirit. And ye shall leave your name for a curse unto my chosen. So the Lord is going to separate his servants from you wicked Israelites, man. He's going to separate us. All right. And ye shall leave your name for a curse unto my chosen, for the Lord Yahweh shall slay thee and call his servants by another name. Okay. So, yeah, man. Grab Ezekiel. So, read this and close out. Ezekiel 7:18, they shall also gird themselves with sackcloth, and horror shall cover them, and shame shall be unto all faces, and baldness upon all their heads. They're going to be in the state of mourning. Okay. 19, they shall cast their silver in the streets, and their gold shall be removed. And the modern day silver is the fiat currency. All right. Yeah, you look at videos of Venezuela, and you can see them throwing their currency, their paper fiat currency, which was the bolivar, throwing it out in the streets. And you can see, not mountains, but you can see a lot of their fiat currency just out in the street, like leaves in the fall, you know? And that's an example of the scripture. And their gold shall be removed. Their silver and their gold shall not be able to deliver them in the day of the wrath of the Lord. And even if you have real, true silver and gold, if you're not part of the elect, man, it still don't matter. You know, it don't matter because you can't pay off Yahweh Shem Yahushai. You know, they shall not satisfy their souls, neither fill their bowels. Yeah, if you're stuck in that paper fiat currency, you're not gonna fill your bowels, man. It said it will neither satisfy nor feed them, for their greed can only trip them up, okay, because of the stumbling block of their iniquity. All right, that paper fiat currency is a stumbling block. All right, and a lot of our people will be caught up in that. You know, believing in the power of the dollar bill, and there's no power in that, man. It's a debt-based system. Okay, so that's pretty much all I got. Shalom.